I'm sitting here looking at my tank and enjoying it after I just fed the fish. And I'm noticing it's really dark in there. and as I get close, it's much more dark on camera than it is in person. But as I get closer, you can start to see back in the depths. And then you're getting mostly glare, as you can see my hand. That's letting me know I need to trim some of this Brazilian Pennywort that's up here, just blocking out all the light from the inside of the tank. And so that's what we're gonna do today in this video. Part of me wants to leave it that way. I did see a baby shrimp the other day. They use this canopy to chill out and do their thing, and they sleep up there or whatever they do at night. And also some of the food gets trapped up there within those leaves. So they get to feed up there. So that's good. So I'm gonna get to trimming. Usually what I do is I take out what I trim and put it in this little tank. But I also throw dead leaves in there, which is no good. So let's get to trimming this tank and see just how much more bright it's gonna be in there with some of that Brazilian Pennywort trimmed back. So the first thing I'm going to do is move this light back a little bit. Just loosen these. You saw it move a little bit there on both sides. Get this one over here also. Just loosen its grip from the glass. That one's pretty tight. And then I'm going to just slide this back. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to try to be careful with it because I have these plants intertwined in here. It's growing nicely. Over here, my idea to hide that filter, these golden pothos is really doing this thing. And I noticed that they're just growing like along the top of the water. So we got that light slid back a bit so that I can have some more access into here. So let me get you guys on the tripod, and I'm gonna be using this Higer set here. Actually, I don't have to take the whole thing out. Just the scissor. So I'm going to be using this Higer scissor. They're nice and curved to do the job. So let's go. So with this Brazilian Pennywort, it'll get tangled up. It'll become a tangled mess. And so these ones that are floating on the top, I'm going to be real careful because I know there's shrimp in here. These ones that are floating on the top, they continue to grow, and then they grow on top of each other. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to locate a main stem. See how this is just growing over here? Any ones that look like they're getting too old, or the leaves are getting damaged, I'm going to cut out. Let's go in here. See this? You see this mess right here? It's tangled. I'm just going to get in here. Start trimming. This is a piece of my cardinal plant that I just leave floating here. It had started to melt back really severely, and so I'm just going to leave it. It's got some roots on it, as you can see here. And so I'm going to leave that floating. And then once it gets strong enough, I'll plant it in the substrate. This over here is the wisteria, and it has grown from up here down and then back up. And as you can see, there's a couple of snails on this leaf here, so they're doing their job. And look at the root system on this. So I could actually trim this here and then replant it. For right now, I'm just going to leave it here. It'll stand up on its own. See, we got a little shrimp right there. Not too scared of me. This leaf is no good. Actually, I'm going to remove all of these. Got a nice damaged leaf here. This stuff smells good. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I've already taken some out, but they're getting tangled up, as you can see here, on this wisteria. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to trim this wisteria. Right about there. And then it seems like this golden pothos is just resting on top of the all of this Brazilian. So I'm going to pull this and clip it right about here, making sure I leave some of the roots. We got another snail hanging on there. Let's take this whole bunch out. See that? Let's take this whole bunch. We got a snail over here. He's surfing on a one solitary Brazilian leaf. Let's check the whole vine and see how they're doing. Not too bad, so I'll leave that. And I have to do something with this. Probably gonna suction cup it to the glass. Maybe over here some way. Now I'm going to go back through some of this Brazilian Pennywort that I removed, and I'm going to look for some real young healthy ones to place back into the tank. This looks like a nice bunch. It's got some roots and only one leaf that's looking like it's going to be bad, but it's right at the end with these roots. So I'm going to snip that off and place that back in the tank. Use my fingernails. Right in that area. Leaves facing up. That should grow nicely in there. And so there we have it. A bunch that we removed. Some we placed back in the tank. But as the days go by, they'll grow again. And I'll have to do the same thing all over again. And now there's much more light getting into the tank because we have removed a lot of that Brazilian Pennywort overgrowth. it looked beautiful and it served the purpose, but we need our plants down here to get light also. These plants are starting to melt, especially that's a dwarf Sagittarius over there in the back. You can see it's starting to melt because of the lack of light. Okay, so there, we're getting a lot more light into the tank, even from this angle back here. And as we get closer, it gets brighter. And some of the shrimp and fish have already found their way back up into the jungle of the Brazilian pennywort. Looks like the shrimp hasn't been too disturbed by me cutting out all of that Brazilian pennywort. It's good to see them back at it. And I think this Cloud Mountain minnow is pregnant, so maybe we'll get some babies from there. Another reason I didn't want to cut out too much of the vegetation. Guess they're looking for new spots. So much more light in there now. I'm happy with it. I had a tough time getting that golden pothos to play right, but it was amazing how the weight of that branch that was coming out there was just resting on top of the Brazilian pennywort. So hopefully when that stuff grows back in, I might not mess with it too much on that side, but temporarily I put that suction cup there so that it wouldn't be completely submerged, the leaves. This one is starting to do the same thing, and it's held up there by that one suction cup in the back. But look how many leaves are on this thing. This is the neon pothos. We got that one leaf with all those spots, but it's looking really good. And even this guy, the Tradescandia Nanook. Those brown leaves were the original leaves from when I first put it in there and I started trimming the brown back. But as you can see, we've got a lot of new growth. And because they're so close to the light, they're growing close together. So beautiful plant. And that's the peace lily. I've had to trim some leaves off of this, but it's growing really nicely. Also, this guy has grown up quite a bit. I thought I was gonna lose it, but it's growing really beautifully. And so that's what actually helped me to know that I needed to trim. As much as beautiful as it looks with all that Brazilian pennywort at the top, some of it's just got to go because it's just blocking light out, even though the fish love it and the shrimp love it. So at some point I might just end up leaving it And then I was going to remove all of this moss that's growing down here amongst the dwarf Sagittarius, or Sagittaria, but that's where I saw the baby shrimp. So I decided to just leave it for now. So this has been Big Bris. It's been about a little over 6 months since I set this tank up. You could go back and check out how it all began. I'm loving this little thing right now. So make sure you hit me with a comment, a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Big Bris saying everyone stay well, and I'm out.